Okay, so for my English final project, I'm going to be teaching you how to analyze Nike's 2012 Find Your Greatness campaign. And so first I'm gonna teach you like exactly how I would do it throughout the year. So it's kind of gonna be more of a realistic version. So to start, we're gonna start with the thesis, and we are going to use this template. And to start, you are going to gather kind of like the analyzing information. So this is going to be the genre, the title, and then contextual information about the piece or the author and the author's name. And so you're gonna fill in that part of the template, and then you're going to watch the video, and you're gonna be looking for a few things while you're watching the video. One, you're gonna look for or analyze for what the video is trying to inform you of. Next, you're gonna look for what it is persuading you towards. And then you're also gonna look for the things that really make you feel something, because those are the rhetorical strategies that the author is using. So sometimes it can be hard to give a name to what it is. So during the year, if I couldn't think of a name for something, I would always just rely on these three. I would do it evokes something, it instills something, and a lot of the times they would use the word we, so you could always use it creates a sense of unity. Or you could talk about tone, and you can say how that appeals to your emotions if you're stuck. I don't know, the hardest part is just putting a name on everything. So you're gonna look for 3 strategies. So we're going to watch the video while we look for these things.
Greatness, it's just something we made up. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is a gift reserved for a chosen few, for prodigies, for superstars, and the rest of us can only stand by watching. You can forget that. Greatness is not some rare DNA strand. It's not some precious thing. Greatness is no more unique to us than breathing. We're all capable of it. All of us. Some people are told they were born with greatness. Some people tell themselves.
If greatness doesn't come knocking at your door, maybe you should go knock on its door.
Sometimes greatness is about overcoming insurmountable adversity. Sometimes it's just fun.
Greatness isn't always measured in tenths of a point. It's a bit bigger than that.
Sometimes greatness is something you plan. But most of the time, it's just something you try.
It's easy to think greatness is only something you see on TV. Unless, of course, greatness is watching TV.
Greatness is a scary thing. Until it isn't.
If we think greatness is supposed to look a certain way, act a certain way, and play a certain way, we certainly need to rethink some things.
Is it speed or endurance? Does it happen in 2 hours or 4 or 6? Is it finishing strong or barely finishing? Yes.
Is greatness worth fighting for? What do you think?
If we face our fears, it means we're pointed in the right direction. Even if that direction is upside down. It's not the biggest stadium in the world. Not the biggest players either. But the pursuit of greatness is kind of big enough, isn't it? You don't need an official court, an official net, or official uniforms to be officially great. Greatness speaks for itself. Once it learns to talk. Greatness needs a lot of things. But it doesn't need an audience. Some measure greatness in precious metals, like iron. Greatness is not born. It's made. If you'd like to tell the guy with the sword he's not great because he's not famous, be my guest. There are no grand celebrations here. No speeches, no bright lights. But there are great athletes. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is reserved for the chosen few, for the superstars. The truth is, greatness is for all of us. This is not about lowering expectations. It's about raising them for every last one of us. Because greatness is not in one special place. And it is not in one special person. Greatness is wherever somebody is trying to find it.
Okay, so now that we have watched the video, if you need to watch it again, you can. But we're going to start to fill out the rest of our thesis template. So you're going to fill in what you wrote down as rhetorical strategy 1 and rhetorical strategy 2 and rhetorical strategy 3. Next, you're going to fill in what the ad campaign was informing us of, which was really like about how you don't have to be an Olympic gold medalist to be great. Like, there's greatness in everyday things. And then what it was persuading the audience, which is you can't say everyone, but everyday people, or everyday athletes. And then you are going to fill in what the persuade was, which is they're ultimately persuading you to buy Nike shoes and how Nike shoes can make you be great. And so, yeah. Okay, so now for the evidence and commentary. So how to do this is I'm going to insert the 2 templates that I would use during the year. And so how to do this is you're going to take your 3 rhetorical strategies that the author uses, and you're going to use the template to kind of fill it out. So you're going to, like the first part of the paragraph, you're going to say how, like what the author is doing and say like why they're doing this. So basically the whole time you just want to relate everything back to the audience. And then after that, you're going to want to insert your evidence. So like, let's say, well, I can do I'll do an example from the Nike ad, but so we can take the little girl that's just doing gymnastics in her front yard. So and we can say the rhetorical strategy is they're like instilling passion in us. So what the author is doing is so for the topic sentence, it's what is he doing and why? So the author is instilling passion. So basically, like, he's informing us that greatness doesn't have to just be in like Olympic gold medalist. It can be in like everyday things. And then next you insert the example, which was the little girl doing gymnastics in her front yard. And then for the commentary, this is where you want to relate everything back to the audience. Like, how was the author using this to move the audience? And basically, this is where you would explain how the author is using this to persuade the audience. Yeah. And then, so you are going to want to do 3 of these. So yeah, I think just using the template is how to go. So, okay, I'll do another example of a rhetorical strategy in the ad was definitely the tone of the ad was very calm and mellow, as well as you wouldn't want to use repetition as a rhetorical strategy, but you could use that as kind of like the example, like they kept repeating is greatness, like all questions, like, so it really had you thinking. So yeah. Okay, so now we're just gonna dive into commentary a little bit deeper for the evidence that we have for each rhetorical strategy. So what's really important when you're giving like the commentary is to really become the audience when you're reading or when you're watching this video. Like, just make yourself become the audience and really try and think about what's going on in the audience's head. And so what you're gonna want to focus on for your commentary is, why did the author use this strategy on this audience? Which is why relating everything to the audience is so important. And then you're gonna want to talk about, how did this make the audience feel, or how did the audience react? And then you're gonna want to put in, what was this rhetorical strategy ultimately moving the audience to do, which would be the conquer question that was in the thesis template. So really just focus on, why did he use this on this audience, and how did this make the audience react or feel, and what is this moving the audience to do? Okay, so lastly, we are gonna work on how to get the sophistication point for this essay. So what you're gonna wanna do is, this isn't a sophistication point about the exact words per se, but more the sophistication of your thoughts in the essay. So what you're gonna wanna do is, you do not wanna oversimplify anything. Like, be very detailed and like almost like over explain it rather than oversimplify it. Then also, do not generalize. Continue to refer everything back to the audience. Like, don't make general statements, make them about the audience. Then also, you're gonna want to have consistency throughout this essay. Everything should agree with what you said in the thesis. And then you can try to get, it's hard to get the sophistication point, but what you can try and do is get the sophistication point through your conclusion as well. And for your conclusion, you can just kind of reword your thesis and just really hammer home, like relating it to the audience, how it's moving the audience, and what the author is doing, like, to the audience, how he's making them feel, how he's making them react. And for the sophistication point, just really explain everything. Like, go into, like, be very detailed about everything the audience feels and how they react, and how the author does this to move the audience in a certain way. And then another, like, just final tip is, go through the rubric and like kind of grade the essay yourself to see if you can't do that like on the AP, but I mean, we could, but if you are writing it at a different setting where you can, then go through the rubric, because that's a way to know, like, did I get all these points? So yeah, that's how you write the rhetorical analysis essay. Thank you.